Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be sitting down and filming this video for you. It's damp out, it's dreary out, it's a little chilly out, there's that bone chill in the air, and it's Halloween week. I'm going to be talking to you about 15 tarot decks that I have on my wish list to use for Halloween. I'm also going to be throwing in 3 bonus oracle decks that I think pair nicely with these decks, so let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome back to Living by the F Word. This video, you guys, I'm so excited. It's Halloween week. I constructed a wish list of Halloween decks that I would like to own. I do own 2 of them, so once I get to those decks, I will get to the table and actually show you some cards. But for the most part, I am going to just be going through a Halloween wish list of tarot decks I would like. And hopefully you know about some of these, maybe you don't, and you'll learn something new, or maybe you have a suggestion or recommendation that you would like to tell me about. Make sure you participate in the comments and let me know. Just so you guys know, I did create a blog post for this as well, so I will link that in the description down below. I am going to be referencing that blog post on my phone, so if you see me scrolling through my phone, that's what I'm doing so that I could stay on track and we can get through this list rather quickly. If you're new to my channel, I am Jess. I am a fine artist, flight attendant, and festival enthusiast, and I talk about F-words that I'm passionate about here on my channel. I also talk about tarot, oracle, and Lenormand card divination in a series called Fools 4, which is what you are currently watching. So if you're into cards, if you're into any of the F-words I talk about, please consider subscribing and joining my community. I would absolutely love to have you here. And please consider liking this video if you are excited to hear and learn about Halloween tarot decks. All right, so the first deck I'm going to start with is pretty well known. It is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and this deck is just super youthful and fun in my opinion. I do not own it. It is by Deborah Blake, and the artist is Elizabeth Alba, and you can get it for $26.99. It was released in 2017. The back of the cards are not reversible, just so you know. That may be important to some people that read reversals. And I do have all this information on the blog post, but I just love how, you know, it's very youthful. I know I said that before, but it's just like inviting and warm, and I feel like you would get really great readings from this. And I watch some tarot channels that use this deck, and every time they use it, I just feel like there's not too many like negative feelings, even if you get a negative card per se. And I'm not saying, you know, we all know if you're into tarot that there's good, there's dark and light, good and bad of all the cards, but some cards weigh heavier, and depending on the illustrations, like you can really feel like a dark reading in some cards, and I just don't feel like you would get that from this deck. And the back of the cards are so cute. It actually reminds me a lot of the shirt I'm wearing with these cats, which I hope you can see. But it has a broom, a black cat, and a witch's hat, and some stars. So super fun, cute deck. Up next, I have the Deviant Moon Tarot, and this is by Patrick Valenza, and he's the artist and also the author of this deck. It's $21.95 US dollars. It was released in 2009. The borderless edition was released in 2014, and the back of the cards are reversible. So this deck has been on my wish list for years, but I never got it because I just don't know if I'm ready to read with it. It's pretty well known. A lot of people know about this deck. It's very bizarre. You know, it's surrealism, it's bizarre, kind of creepy, like faces. So if you're not into reading cards like that and you're not into creepy stuff, I don't know if it's really the deck for you. But what I love about it is the textures that are in it. And so the artist, what he did was it started with an illustration, And then what he would do was he would travel around Brooklyn and he would find textures. So he would actually take photographs of tombstones or different types of textures, and then he would scan that into the computer, and you'll see those textures throughout the characters' dresses and in the background. And it's absolutely stunning, and it's really amazing. And so I just think it's a deck that would be perfect for Halloween. Next up, I have Night Sun Tarot. So I have 2 decks by this artist on my list. The artist is Fabio Listrani, and the deck is $21, 21 US dollars about, released in 2015. The backs are non-reversible. And, you know, this wouldn't be considered an actual Halloween deck, I don't think. But for me, like, I tried to pick imagery that I thought could work during the October, fall, and Halloween season, and I definitely think this deck would work. There's a lot of sacred geometry and line work with it, but the characters, there's something about it. There's grace, there's elegance, but it's also still kind of weird. And let's see what I wrote. Illustrations pique curiosity with graceful yet mysterious characters. So yeah, I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks dark, but it also looks like, you know, light. It's called Night Sun, so that's kind of like appeals a lot of interest with me too. Okay, next up I have Skeleton Tarot, and this deck, you guys, is so adorable. Okay, it's by Cat Rocket Ship. It's a independent deck, so it is a little bit more expensive. The price is $55, which is expected when you buy indie decks. That means that there's no publisher, and the artist and the author are producing this work themselves, so it costs more money for them. Which in turn means it costs more money for you, but it also means you're supporting a small business. So I do own a decent amount of independent decks, and I'm really proud of that because I am an artist myself, and, you know, everyone just needs support out there, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that decks that are with big publishers are not worth supporting at all. I'm just saying, you know, the independent decks are a little bit more expensive, and they are producing everything on their own, so it has like a little bit more of a personal touch to it. But this deck, you guys, is so cute. It's black and white, and it's line work illustrations. And this particular artist, they basically state on their Etsy shop that they came about this project because they needed to find focus. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I would say creating a tarot deck or any type of deck would definitely, you would need to narrow in on and focus on it, because I've always thought about how I want to create my own deck, but I just feel like, wow, that's going to be a ridiculous amount of dedication and focus in order to do that. Like, every day you would have to work on a card, and not even every day you would be able to get something out. You probably like would feel stuck certain days. And so I think that's really interesting as to how they started to create this deck. And I just think it's fun. It's like, you know, little skeletons. The suits are mugs, knives, canes, and coins. And it's just really simplistic, but really adorable. That's really all I could say about it. Next up on the list, I have the Marigold Tarot. This is another gorgeous deck. Obviously, all the decks on here I am attracted to in some way. It is by 13 Press, and it's another independent deck, so it goes for $55 as well. Or if you want gold gilded, it is $80. Gilded just means that the sides of the cards have a shine on them, basically. And it was released in 2018. Yes, the card backs are reversible. This deck, it's just, whew, it's really beautiful. So it's just classic colors. Black, white, and gold, that's just classic in my opinion. And for a tarot deck, I think that's really pretty because there's not too much going on, and you just have those simple color palette, and it works well for Halloween. It's also a pip deck, so yeah, it's so for the suits of the cups, swords, and wands and rings. If you don't know what a pip deck refers to, that basically means when only the major arcana which are the major cards, are illustrated with people, and then the suits, with the exception of the court cards, are only illustrations. With a pip deck, you really need to understand the numerology of the tarot. You need to understand your intuition, the cards, and it's a little bit more difficult to read in most people's opinion, but I think that they're gorgeous because it's just more dynamic in a way. And so, yeah, we have the cups are symbolized by skulls. The wands are symbolized by various flowers. The swords are depicted by long swords and daggers. And the rings are showcased by hands bearing rings or ring-like ornaments. Super beautiful deck. Up next, we have the Halloween Tarot, and I had to have this on my list just because it's called the Halloween Tarot. It is by Karen Lee. The artist is Kipling West. It was published by US Game Systems, and it's $16.95. It was released in 2003, and the back of the cards are reversible. So as far as the imagery goes with this one, it's kind of just classic Halloween things. You have, you have vampires, you have angels, you have ghosts, you have cats, you have jack-o'-lanterns, and just, you know, really fun Halloween images. But it does have a vintage vibe, and it's weird for me to say that because 2003 you wouldn't really think of as vintage, but this deck screams like 1990s to me. It screams how decks were designed in the 1990s. So I think it's just worth having on there because it is the Halloween Tarot deck, but I'm not sure if it's like my favorite of all of them, but maybe you guys will like it. Up next, I have the Crow Tarot. Now, this of course is not a Halloween deck. Most of these decks, in fact, you could probably use year-round. It just depends on your style. But I put the Crow Tarot on here because when I think of a crow, I think of kind of mysterious, kind of dark, maybe something died. So, and you know, that's actually like a big superstition, and I wrote it here in the blog post. It says that it's a common superstition that crows symbolize death or bad luck. So maybe that's the association I have with them and why I put it on this list. But the imagery is really stunning, and this is one of two crow decks I have on here, and this is more of like a lighter style. So if you're not into creepy, if you're not into dark stuff, if you're into more things that are more pleasant, this would probably be the crow deck you want to go with. It was released in 2019, so it's fairly new, and it's by MJ Cullinan, and the back of the cards are reversible. Keeping up with the crow theme, I have Murder of the Crows Tarot. Guys, this deck is sick looking. Oh my goodness. It is by Charles Harrington, and the artist is Corrado Roy. And sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong, but sorry. The price is $24.21. It was released in 2020. The back of the card, I keep saying the decks. The back of the cards are reversible, and this deck, dude, oh my god, it is creepy looking. It is gothic. It is black and white. There is I don't want to say it's a limited edition. See, this is why I'm referencing the blog post. It is a limited edition. Limited edition kit has splashes of red blood details. So it's like red blood splattered on the limited edition. It's super creepy, you guys. And I'm throwing up images for you to be looking at as I'm like talking about this, but this is definitely something for me that kind of screams spooky season. All right, next on the list, I have the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And this is by Claire Goodchild. She's the author and the artist. The publisher is Abrams Notary, and the price is $22.04. So many strange prices, but I am getting a lot of these off of Amazon, so I don't know why they're these weird numbers, but it was released in 2019. The back of the cards are non-reversible, And this deck mixes vintage anatomy drawings that are paired with plants and flowers. This is also a pip style deck. I personally only own one pip deck right now, which is the Marshmallow Marseille Tarot, which I adore. I would love to like get into more pip style decks and collect pip decks. I would just like to collect as many decks as possible. Let's be honest. But right now I need to chill. I cannot buy any more decks, which is another reason why I had to come up with this list, because I don't own all these decks. I need to just dream about them, I guess. Dark Mansion Tarot is what I have up next on this list. I discovered this deck when my cousin posted a judgment picture, and I didn't know that she read tarot, and she said, I don't read tarot. Damien reads tarot, who's my other cousin. I had no idea he read tarot, and so he owns this deck apparently, and that was the first time I ever saw it, and then I have seen it since on other YouTubers' channel pick a card readings, and this deck is just so adorable. I love the imagery. It's so fun. I love this type of style. The borders do not bother me on the cards. I think it's fun. I think the characters look fun. It's, you know, they're exaggerated features, which is what I like about it, but like kind of cartoony and kind of whimsical. And I just feel like there's still a lot of traditional imagery in there, so it would probably be really easy for someone like me to read. I do own a lot of decks, but I'm still learning, and sometimes it's really hard to remember or get a feel for what the cards mean in a particular reading when you're using certain style decks. So I think this would be a really easy deck to learn on if you're trying to learn. Yeah, it's beautiful. Up next I have Moon Power Tarot. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I own this deck. And I will show you a flip through of some of the cards in just a second. The reason why this typically isn't a Halloween deck either. I actually use this deck year round as well, but it does have like this creepy style to it. There are some weird things, and the artist Charlie Quintero is pretty creepy, like in the illustrations. I mean, it's just like off. And what I love about her brand is it's Six Sad Girls, and like that's kind of what comes through with this. And there's just some like really cool cards, which I'll show you close-ups of, that I really truly feel like this is a great deck to be using during the Halloween season, but I do use it year round as well. So that's also a fun option. It is an independent deck. It's actually probably the most expensive deck that I own. It's $66. It was released in 2018. It was like one of the first decks I got, probably within like top 5 of my first 5 tarot decks. The backs are reversible, and it's just really unique. So let me show you some of the cards. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck, Temperance. Oops, hello. Come on. There we go. You guys, I finally figured out how to focus on the cards. A lot of my flip throughs, it took me a while to figure out how to do it, but obviously I'm not going to go through this entire deck because that would take forever. I will do a proper flip through as mentioned, but look, even here, look at this Queen of Pentacles. That's a straight up witch right there. So I'll leave you with that. There's a lot of great stuff in this deck. It's absolutely gorgeous and creepy and all the things, which is why I included it. All right, up next is the deck that I consider my Halloween deck. Like, I actually purchased it this year because I was like, I need to have a Halloween deck, and this is actually how I came up with this list. I was searching for Halloween decks that I wanted. I wrote a list, I wrote the blog post, and then I was like, let me make it into a YouTube video as well, because there's a lot of people that just love listening to what people have to say. And so it is right here. It is the Santa Mirete Tarot, and this is the second deck I have on this list, which is by Fabio Listrani, which, by the way, I want to give him a shout out because I've been posting a lot of pictures with this deck recently, or some things on my stories, and I've tagged him, and he's always reshared it. And as a creator, that just means a lot to me because we're helping each other out. So this deck is gorgeous, okay? I'm going to show you close up as well since I actually own this deck, but this deck I feel like I will use after Halloween. It's another deck where I feel like I could use it year round just because it is so beautiful. It is just stunning in my opinion. To some people it might be creepy since it is like the Book of the Dead. It goes off of the Day of the Dead. So for some people that really don't like skeletons and creepy shit, it really might not be for you. But there's certain cards that are super scary, and then there's other cards that are very just stunning, gorgeous, and really creative. I mean, really, really creative, and it was so well thought out. So let me show you some of the cards. And actually, let me tell you how much it is as well before I do that. So it's $22.73. It was released in 2017, and yes, the backs are reversible. So this deck is so worth the money, you guys. Like, it is absolutely stunning. Let me show you some of the cards. All the suits, you know, for cups, it's blue. He has different color-coded cards for the different suits, and then each 10 is represented by a body part and a butterfly. So this is the rib cage, obviously. So that particular suit of cups is represented by that. And I just think this deck, I can't even believe how beautiful this deck is. Let me show you some of the cups since I'm here. Like, here's 2 of cups and 8 of cups, and just beautiful. Wow. Absolutely love this deck. So make sure you guys subscribe because I'm going to be putting up an unboxing of this deck very shortly. So if you want to see the full deck, definitely stick around for that. And I mean, I could stay here all day and show you this deck, but we're not going to do that because we have other decks to get to on the list. All right, we're coming towards the tail end of the tarot list, and then I'm going to tell you about 3 bonus oracle decks that I think would pair nicely with these as well, so make sure you keep sticking with me. Up next, I have the Orphans Tarot. So this is a deck that was released in 2018. The backs are non-reversible, and it is by Yozel Lorenzo, and sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong if you end up watching this, but this deck is adorable, you guys. It's only the majors, so that means that it's only 22 cards. It's only the trump cards. There's no minors or suits with this deck, and it's basically a Victorian era illustration of orphans during Halloween, and it really is so cute, guys. Like, I just love it. And certain people might not be a fan of decks that are just majors. I own one. It was gifted to me. I just ordered another one. So, I mean, for the most part, yeah, you typically, in my opinion, if you're going to be spending the money, you want a full deck. But sometimes what people do is they'll create the majors, they'll release the majors, and if there's like a good feedback and a good response purchasing it, then they'll create the rest of the 56 cards. So it's personal preference. I mean, you can use it as a focal card, obviously, and then do the rest of your reading with other tarot cards that have all of the cards with them. It's just really up to you, but I have this on the list because it's absolutely adorable. Next up, I have Halloween Herbivores Boutique Tarot. You guys, this deck is awesome and it's not yet released. It is in the works right now as we speak. I discovered it on Instagram. It's by Ashley Gould. She owns the shop Halloween Herbivore Boutique Tarot. So I honestly don't know if that's even the name of this deck, if she even named it yet, but that is her shop and she's in the process of creating it right now. She has all the majors done. You can go check out her Instagram. I will link everything in the description below. You also can purchase the majors on t-shirts. She has them available. I was so close to ordering the Ghoul because this is Fool's 4. I have a special connection with the Fool, and then hers is the Ghoul, and it's like just so adorable. I honestly couldn't decide. There's a lot of great things going on already with the majors of this deck, and I don't know if she's only going to do the majors or if she's going to create all 78 cards. But the thing is, with certain cards, she has swapped out what they're called, and I really like it for Halloween. So we have, obviously, the Ghoul instead of the Fool. Instead of the Hanged Man, we have Perspective. And I really like that because that's what I think of whenever I pull the Hanged Man. I think about thinking from a different point of view or perspective. We also have the Haunted House instead of the Tower, and then there's other substitutions as well. It's very simplistic. 2D illustration, very simplistic, very adorable, just very much my style when it comes to this type of illustration. And last up, I have the Creepy Tarot, which also is not released yet, but it was just backed on Kickstarter. That's how I discovered it on Kickstarter. It's by Stephanie Black. It is not yet released. It was designed right here in 2020. The backs are non-reversible, and this is a Creepy Tarot deck. It also is only the majors, so just be mindful of that. It's not all 78 cards. It's only 22 cards. And yeah, it looks super fun and pretty creepy, which is why I added it to this list. All right, we have made it to the bonus 3 Oracle decks. Let me take a sip of my tea. I have a little cat theme going on, in case you didn't notice. And also, oh, I forgot to show you my cocktail napkin. It's Pick Your Poison, which is also basically today's theme, because how can you pick between all these decks? I just want all of them, but you kind of have to do that in life, so pick your poison, right? Anyways, all right, let's talk about the 3 Oracle decks that I have on this list. First up, I have the Enchanted Bruja Oracle. Oh, this is gorgeous Oracle deck. I saw Kelly from Truth and Story unbox it, and I saw this pop up in my notifications when she was unboxing it, and I was like, yo, this Oracle deck just screams Halloween. It is absolutely beautiful. It's black and white deck. There's gold typeface with it. It's just perfect for the season. I feel like it would pair perfectly. You have like witch items, you have pentacles, you have wolf, you have ghost, you have various witches hats, you have, you know, all the Halloween stuff, and it's just really beautifully illustrated, so I really like that a lot. And the author and illustrator is Alexandra Bunch, not Brunch, and it's $30 US. All right, the next Oracle deck I have up on this list is the Literary Witches Oracle, and that is by Tysia Kidasaskia. Whew, I am sorry. I know that I butchered that. And the author is Katie Horan. So this is $17.99, this particular deck. And I thought this was really interesting when I discovered it. And the reason being is because it focuses on females that are well known in literature. And so I thought that was kind of cool. It has 30 cards about 30 female literary writers, literature writers. And then there's 40 cards that have to deal with things witches deal with. So what witches would be putting in potions, or what witches ride, like brooms or hats, or there's various witches items. So I don't know, I just thought it was like something cool that I hadn't seen before. So 70 cards for an Oracle deck is a lot. I've done an unboxing of the Wild Unknown Archetypes as well, which is 78 cards. So for an Oracle deck, I feel like that's a lot. Most Oracle decks, it just depends, but you know, they can go anywhere from 30 up to 80 cards. And I just think, wow, as an Oracle deck, that is like a lot to work with. But really for the price, I think it's pretty cool and really would be fun to work with other tarot decks. We have come to the end of the list, you guys, and that is the Halloween Oracle. Of course, have to end it with an actual Halloween in the title, and it's by Stacey DeMarco, and the artist is Jimmy Manton. It's $21.11, and it is just beautiful. This to me is like a standard Oracle deck. There's a keyword, there's the image, and then there's a little bit of like keyword phrases that pair with it. And you have a lot of fun things. You have like jack-o'-lantern, black cat, trick or treat, and you know, it just looks like it's super fun. And obviously, since it's called the Halloween Oracle, it screams Halloween. So that is the list. All right, well, that wraps up this video. I hope you have discovered some new decks that you want to add to your Halloween collection, or perhaps that you just want to work with year-round. Doesn't always have to be for Halloween. Some people love being spooky year-round, so maybe you have found something new, and if you didn't, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you think works well as a Halloween tarot deck or a Halloween Oracle deck. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it. You also can read this blog post if you want to, if you prefer to read it. And once again, like I said, that link is in the description below. See you guys in the next video.